so perfectly they look like gems. I don't notice this stuff that much when I'm alone, but when I do, I almost start to cry. I can't believe I get to live in this house. Sometimes I can't believe I'm even alive. I'm sitting in a chair on my patio when my bathing suit starts to ride up and it feels like a thong is wedged up my ass. Suddenly, I'm sitting in a strip bar, lying to a customer about having a sick grandma so he'll give me extra tips. How did I get from there to here? It's like one reality lies on top of the other and puts its hands on the first woman's eyes so she can't look. I'm fine, I tell myself. When I come back to the present moment, I remember that dancing allowed me to sing, and singing saved my life. Singing allowed me to travel the world. Singing gave me a career I was once too damaged to enjoy, but now find thrilling. I remind myself that my war has never been with sexism, but with how sexism has warped me. My war is between the me who thinks she already died and the me who cries while touching the garden wall. My war is between the me who has suffered trauma and is trying to deal with it, and the me who wallows in self-pity as a way to not reckon with my own privilege. Every time I sing, I stare these battles down and shake loose another part of my story. And while I've lost and regained my confidence as a performer many times, singing has never stopped being the tiny tornado I most want to be in. Writing is so much harder than performing. Some days writing this book feels like I'm spinning through the room singing "It's My Turn" at the top of my lungs. I finally get to decide how my work is contextualized, what parts of my story should be told, and what needs to stay in the trash. I also get to reclaim my public identity without being physically present. But writing this book has also taken me to places I once ran from and forced me to stand there, trying to catch a glimpse of my own face. I want you to know I appreciate you standing there with me. Part 1. Junior Achievement. Hearing that noise was my first ever feeling. I know smell is supposed to be the part of our brains that's most connected to memory, but in my life it's always been sound. The sound of a Carole King record, of mattress springs squeaking while me and my best friend jump on a bed we were told not to jump on. The sound of my feet running up our wooden stairs. The sound of our dog panting when she was hot. The sound of a hole being punched through a wall by a fist. My dad was a kind of 1970s guy who kept a loaded gun underneath the front seat of his van. He also had a CB radio that my older sister and I loved to play with. My handle was Secret Squirrel, and my favorite thing to say on the CB was, 10-4, good buddy, what's your 10-20? What wasn't fun was when my dad installed a speaker under the van's hood so he could yell at women through the CB as we drove by. Hey, good looking, nice ass. Every time it happened, I'd slink down in my seat and pretend I was invisible. Some mornings I would come into the kitchen and my dad would be sipping on his titty mug, a mug shaped like a breast with a hole in the nipple for drinking coffee. My parents met in high school in Portland, Oregon, and the first house my family lived in was 20 miles away in Gresham. My dad was apprenticing to become a welder, and my mom was a 23-year-old nurse with 2 kids who did home visits with elderly people. I was always with my mom, gardening next to her, going with her to the bank, the grocery store, and the post office. I remember her climbing into the driver's seat after she found out stamps went from 5 to 7 cents, saying, "It's like highway train robbery in there." My mom had all sorts of cool sayings. She called vaginas and butts front bottoms and back bottoms. She called slippers foo-foos and Worcestershire sauce poos-a-poos. And instead of saying, "You can do it alone," she'd say, "You can do it by self." I didn't make it through even a day of preschool because my mom got a funny feeling in her stomach after driving away from the church basement. When she came to find me, I was sitting alone in a corner crying out for her. She walked in, picked me up, and never looked back. Instead, she made me her assistant on her home visits. Thanks to me.